Army in shock. Jungkook and Taehyung's silent moment captured. Why did it melt millions of hearts instantly? Purple Heart in an industry dominated by noise, spectacle, and carefully curated performances, silence has never been louder. A single quiet frame featuring Jungkook and Taehyung, two of BTS's most magnetic figures, has detonated across the global fandom, leaving ARMY stunned, shaken, and emotionally overwhelmed. Why did a seemingly simple moment, free from choreography, flashing lights, or grand announcements, resonate more profoundly than any stage performance? And what hidden depth lies behind this stillness that has now become the subject of obsessive dissection? Observers who witness the captured moment describe it not as an ordinary snapshot, but as a revelation. Jungkook, absorbed in his own world, appeared focused and unbothered, while Taehyung, without hesitation, leaned gently against him, a gesture so understated yet so piercing that it sent shockwaves across social media. Fans who have followed the duo for years know their bond transcends casual companionship, but this particular silence carried an unfamiliar weight. Was it exhaustion, unspoken solidarity, or something more layered than anyone dares to articulate? The frenzy it sparked is almost paradoxical. BTS has delivered countless iconic performances on the biggest stages in the world, stadiums filled with fireworks, award show spectacles, and high-production visuals. Yet, none of those left the same haunting impression as this unguarded instant where two men sat side by side in an environment stripped of glamour. The viral spread of this moment is not just about aesthetics, it is about interpretation. ARMY, dissecting every detail, sees not only friendship but also a portrait of survival in the midst of unrelenting pressure. The question now echoing across fan communities is simple yet profound. Why does silence between Jungkook and Taehyung feel louder than applause? Theories diverge sharply. Some suggest the photograph revealed fatigue, an unmasking of the toll exacted by years of demanding schedules. Others argue it reflects an unshakable bond that does not require words, a rare intimacy that can only exist after surviving more than a decade under the same spotlight. Whatever the interpretation, one fact remains: the image refuses to fade, refusing to be just another fleeting piece of content in the endless churn of K-pop's media machine. For a longtime ARMY, the moment stirred old emotions. They recalled past interactions, glances exchanged on stage, subtle touches during rehearsals, and moments caught off camera. Those fragments now reassemble into a larger narrative, positioning this new silence as not accidental but inevitable. Fans interpret it as a culmination of years of subtle communication between two figures who, despite global fame, continue to seek refuge in each other's presence. This context only intensifies the meaning of what appeared so simple on the surface, but silence can also be provocative. Was Jungkook's stillness an act of withdrawal, a retreat into himself as the weight of public life pressed harder? Was Taehyung's leaning gesture an instinctive attempt to bridge the growing chasm between them, or was it the most natural expression of comfort? Each frame, each angle has become subject to forensic-level analysis. Fans point out how Jungkook's posture exuded firmness yet subtle weariness, while Taehyung's head resting lightly against him looked like an anchor. The language of bodies here spoke louder than scripted fan service ever could. The emotions it triggered border on collective hysteria. Across platforms, ARMYs wrote that the scene felt too intimate for words and more powerful than any performance. Others confessed they were moved to tears, not because of dramatic gestures, but because the quietness was too raw, too human. What startled many was how, in a world where idols are polished into perfection, this unscripted moment revealed fragility, dependence, and closeness unfit for stage consumption. Fans began to ask, how much of BTS's strength is built upon these silent exchanges we were never meant to see? There is also a darker undertone. The sight of Taehyung leaning into Jungkook stirred concern. Was he seeking comfort, or was he silently signaling a struggle? Army, well versed in analyzing even the smallest details, speculated whether the moment carried unspoken stories of exhaustion, conflict, or even resistance against the industry's relentless pace. The image became a canvas onto which millions projected fears, hopes, and interpretations that reflected not just the idols themselves, but also the audience's longing for authenticity in a system known for control. The silence grew louder as discussions spread beyond fandom circles into wider cultural commentary. Analysts noted how the moment contradicted the very machinery of celebrity. Here were two global superstars whose lives are constantly choreographed and scrutinized, finding resonance not in spectacle but in stillness. It was not performance, it was presence. And it unsettled the narrative that K-pop idols must always dazzle, always entertain, and always remain untouchable. Instead, the frame forced the public to confront their humanity, their vulnerability, and their need for connection. The timing of this viral storm is crucial. With BTS navigating transitions in their careers, every gesture has been loaded with significance. Fans argue that the quiet unity between Jungkook and Taehyung offered reassurance at a time when uncertainty dominates the group's future. The silent frame became a promise, a reminder that despite external pressures and personal challenges, some bonds remain unshakable. Yet others wonder if it was not reassurance but warning, a subtle glimpse into the toll exacted by carrying both personal and professional burdens simultaneously. Social media metrics confirm what words cannot. Within hours, the photograph surged into trending topics, generating millions of views, shares, and emotional reactions. Analysts noted that this was not typical viral momentum, it was an eruption fueled by deep-seated attachment. The moment did not need choreography, music, or official promotion to dominate conversation. It needed only silence. And silence, as it turns out, can spread faster than sound. Fans who tried to rationalize their response found themselves returning to the same question: why does a quiet interaction matter so much? The answer may lie in scarcity. BTS has been celebrated for their energy, humor, and showmanship, but rarely are fans allowed to witness them in unfiltered stillness. This scarcity amplifies the value of such glimpses, turning every candid frame into a treasure chest of meaning. When Jungkook and Taehyung sat wordlessly together, it provided a rare opening into a world usually closed off, and ARMY clung to it with desperation. But desperation has consequences. The obsessive analysis of this moment exposes not just fan devotion but also the pressure placed on idols. Every movement, every glance, is subjected to microscopic examination, and silence becomes as risky as speech. For Jungkook and Taehyung, this means that even their most natural gestures cannot exist freely. They are transformed into headlines, theories, and narratives they may never have intended. Yet, ironically, this same pressure is what transforms ordinary moments into cultural phenomena. As the discussion continues, one fact is undeniable. This single moment has altered the emotional landscape of the fandom. Fans now see Jungkook and Taehyung not only as performers, but as anchors for each other's survival. Whether it was fatigue, affection, or unspoken solidarity, the image has etched itself into ARMY's collective memory. It is no longer just about entertainment. It is about witnessing humanity under conditions where humanity is rarely allowed to surface. The silence between Jungkook and Taehyung will likely echo for years, resurfacing whenever questions about their bond, their struggles, or their endurance emerge. For now, ARMY is left with a haunting question that refuses to fade. Was this moment a fleeting accident, or was it a deliberate glimpse into the truth behind the world's most scrutinized band? Whatever the answer, the hearts that melted in response prove one thing: the loudest revelations often arrive in silence.